The alien newsfeed wasn't meant for human eyes. But I watched it anyway, hacked it, downloaded it, translated it. Frame by frame, their horror played out like prophecy. I saw their bloated dignitaries tremble. Their spokescreatures choked on guttural gasps. Their tentacled analysts and clawed warlords stared at the screens in stunned silence as the impossible unfolded in real time. Earth had responded. And not with a diplomatic protest. Not with desperate pleas. With ships. It started with a single phrase spoken by a Zarneth anchor through a mouthful of mandibles: "Humans have entered the war zone." That sentence rippled across the galaxy like a shockwave. The footage cut to a grainy orbital shot, our first dreadnought, the *ESS Black Horizon *, tearing out of fold space with its hull burning blue from atmospheric friction. It didn't decelerate. It accelerated. Straight into the center of the Threx blockade. Alien admirals screamed. Tactical overlays blinked red. Shields flared, and then collapsed. The dreadnought cut through them like a god's hammer swung in silence. They never thought we'd come. After the orbital quarantine of Earth. After the engineered famine that wiped out half of Lunar's population. After the sterilization strikes on Mars and the viral sweeps across Titan's colonies. They assumed we'd stay cornered. Lick our wounds. Die slowly in silence. But we remembered. We remembered what they did to our children. Our oceans. Our sky. And the moment we discovered the galactic network, when we saw them mock us live, laughing in alien tongues, we didn't react with rage. We reacted with something colder. Older. We planned. And now, watching them recoil from our return, watching their empires falter as our first fleet arrived, I didn't feel pride. I felt something deeper. I felt the future turning. We landed on Virex 9 under cover of orbital debris, disguised as falling scrap from the shattered blockade. Our pod screamed through the atmosphere, streaks of fire ripping across the dead sky. The surface met us with silence. No wind. No movement. Just ash and ruin. Trees had been flash-burned into blackened spires, like skeletal fingers clawing at a red-tinged sun. The air was thick with radiation, acrid and heavy. Virex 9 was supposed to be a nursery world for the Arxan species. It had been lush once, crystal rivers, living cities, protective canopy forests. Now it was glass. We knew what the Threx Dominion had done here. They'd hit the Arxan where it hurt most. They called it tactical sterilization. I called it cowardice. Corporal Mejia was the first to break from formation. She ignored the perimeter sweep, dropped her rifle, and ran toward a collapsed biodome. We shouted after her, but she didn't stop. She heard something, faint, desperate chirps from beneath the rubble. A hatchling. Still alive. I followed her. We clawed through melted crystal and twisted beams until we uncovered it, small, broken, breathing through cracked gills. Mejia pulled off her helmet, cradled the creature, and whispered something soft and human. That moment was captured on a Threx Recon drone. They broadcasted it to mock us, look at the humans, protecting the enemy. But it didn't land the way they wanted. Across the galactic net, something shifted. We weren't just brutes anymore. We were something unpredictable. Dangerous not because we were violent, but because we were *compassionate star. Even in war, we still reached out. Still saved the smallest lives. That terrified them more than any weapon we carried. And in that moment, I knew, the galaxy had underestimated the most dangerous part of humanity, our mercy. The Othran rings were supposed to be our grave. 32 ships, human-built and battle-scarred, caught in a precision ambush set by the Sorcari fleet. The trap was elegant, artificial gravity wells, woven like a net of invisible steel, locking us in place. Engines sputtered. Comms distorted. Hulls groaned as pressure mounted. We couldn't move, couldn't fire, couldn't even call for help. Every calculation said we had minutes left. The Sorcari were already celebrating, broadcasting our slow suffocation across the galactic net like a sport. That's when Captain Singh did what no alien could have predicted. She didn't ask for backup. Didn't run diagnostics. She walked into the core chamber of the *ISS Resolute * and ordered the engineers to ** fire the FTL drive inside the well. *. There were protests. Warnings. Simulations screaming catastrophic failure. The math said we'd disintegrate before the drive even warmed. But Singh just looked at her crew and said, if the trap breaks us, we're already dead. If we break the trap, then the rules are ours. We lit the drive. The Sorcari cameras caught it, space around the resolute warping, time folding at impossible angles. Our ships bent like reflections on water. The pressure shattered their sensors. Then, in an instant, we were gone. Except we weren't. We re-emerged 20,000 kilometers behind enemy lines. The Sorcari supply fleet didn't even know what hit them. Explosions bloomed in silent harmony as we tore through their logistics chain. The galactic net went into meltdown. Physics had failed. The trap was broken. And the laws that held their empires together began to crack. We didn't just escape. We rewrote the rules of space itself. And the universe suddenly understood, humans didn't follow the laws of nature. We broke them when we had to. Delta Prima wasn't marked on most star charts. Just another mining moon in the Gorthai Combine, orbiting a gas giant forgotten by time. But we knew better. Our scans picked up strange life signs, dense clusters of heat signatures deep beneath the surface, packed too tightly, too uniformly. When we breached the atmosphere, we saw the truth. Cages. Row after row of stacked metal crates, electrified and rusted, stretched for kilometers across the moon's dark plains. Inside them were the forgotten, millions of slaves from dozens of species. The Gorthai didn't just exploit them. They broke them. Stamped serial numbers onto their skin. Fed them with nutrient paste laced with obedience chemicals. The air reeked of despair and recycled blood. Command told us to disable the facility, secure intelligence, move on. But I didn't follow that order. I gave a different one. We opened every gate. There were no speeches. No declarations of liberation. Just silent, methodical unlocking. Our engineers bypassed the biometric locks. Our medics distributed real food, real water. And our armory. We opened that too. At first, they didn't believe it. The freed hesitated, staring at us with hollow eyes. Then one, a young Trilexi with translucent skin and trembling hands, reached for a plasma rifle. Not to use it on us, but to stand beside us. The others followed. When the Gorthai reinforcements arrived, they weren't met with soldiers. They were met with everyone else. Thousands of the enslaved, armed and ready, standing with humans, not behind us, with us. Fighting back. The Gorthai didn't just lose a moon that day. They lost control. They didn't understand that when humans fight, we don't just shatter walls. We shatter chains. And we don't just win battles. We create revolutions. The strike came at 0400 Earth Standard Time. A stealth asteroid, cloaked and guided by Threx AI, struck Lunar Base Alpha with kinetic force beyond nuclear scale. No warnings. No sirens. Just silence, and then a crater where my sister's home used to be. Over 3 million lives lost in less than 30 seconds. Scientists. Children. Terraformers. Gone. The galactic net barely covered it. A blip. A retaliation strike in the long list of atrocities logged as footnotes. But for Earth, it was more than a loss. It was personal. We didn't scream. Didn't retaliate with fire. Not yet. Instead, the planet went quiet. The orbital factories paused production. The communications grids fell still. No music. No chatter. Even the oceans seemed to hush, as if mourning with us. Across the colonies, humans gathered, not in anger, but in mourning. A funeral broadcast live from Earth's surface. Billions watching. Billions standing still. It wasn't for show. It was for us star. We lit candles from London to New Mumbai, from the shattered domes of Mars to the methane fields of Europa. Soldiers knelt beside engineers. Children held hands with old war veterans. I stood in my uniform beside an empty chair, my sister's name etched in silver. They thought we'd break. But that was their mistake. Our silence wasn't surrender. It was focus. The kind of silence that comes before the blade drops. Before the hammer falls. The Threx watched the feed and mistook our grief for weakness. But what they saw was unity. In our pain, we didn't fragment. We became *1. And when we finally rose, not in rage, but in resolve they knew. The storm hadn't passed. It was only beginning. The galaxy didn't know how to deal with us anymore. Their envoys came cloaked in silk and sorrow, bearing offers of peace wrapped in veiled threats. Treaties drafted in ancient dialects. Compensation packages for misunderstandings. Diplomatic theater designed to maintain their illusion of control. But every time they spoke to us, they spoke to the wrong version of humanity, the one they thought still begged for a seat at their table. I was assigned to the diplomatic station orbiting Cygna 4, where representatives of 17 species gathered to negotiate with Earth. The chamber was polished, sterile, drenched in artificial gravity and rehearsed etiquette. I wore my uniform, combat-worn and unpressed. Not out of disrespect, but because I wanted them to see the truth. Across from me sat High Emissary Valtesh of the Zelnari Accord. Her voice trembled beneath layers of translator filters. We seek to understand your intentions," she said, eyes flicking nervously between my scars and the silent Earth delegates beside me. "Surely you don't mean to continue this conflict indefinitely?" I leaned forward, folding my hands. "We're not here to continue the war," I said. "We're here to end all of them." The room fell still. No one knew how to respond to that. Because for them, war was an economy. A cycle. A dance of treaties and skirmishes, where suffering was tolerated as long as it didn't upset the balance. But we'd already buried too many. They didn't understand that we weren't fighting to win land, or credits, or pride. We were fighting so that no child, human or alien, would ever again have to sleep beneath the shadow of war. They stared at me like I was mad. But behind their fear, I saw something else blooming. Doubt. And doubt is where change begins. Zatorionis Prime was their last bastion, fortified, shielded, surrounded by 6 defense moons and the combined fleets of 5 major empires. It was where they thought they'd make their final stand. Where they expected to break our momentum. They had built monuments to themselves there, towers of glass and pride, broadcasting their strength to the galaxy. But when we arrived, it wasn't just human ships coming out of fold space. We brought everyone. Arxan warbeasts, armored in salvaged plating. Trilexi strike pods flanking our fighter squadrons. Canary medics embedded in every platoon. The freed and the forgotten marched with us, under banners stitched from old flags and new hope. They hadn't just joined us, they believed in us. Not because we were perfect. Because we never turned away. The battle began not with an orbital bombardment, but with a signal, a single, ancient Earth song broadcast across all channels. A slow, rising chorus of voices. No lyrics. Just harmony. The sound of a species that had mourned and marched, bled and built. It wasn't for them. It was for us. We struck fast. Precise. Surgical. Not to destroy, but to dismantle. Command node severed. Weapon relays fried. The shield matrix collapsed before the 3rd hour. I led the ground charge on the central spire. Beside me, a Boran war chanter let out a cry of defiance that shook the sky. Behind us, a Canary child, once a slave, fired the final blast that shattered the palace gate. By nightfall, it was over. The broadcasts didn't show victory parades. They showed silence. We didn't cheer. We just stood among the ruins and breathed. The galaxy watched, not in horror now, but in awe. Because in us, they saw what they could become. Not conquerors. Protectors. And maybe, something even more.